Hello, I'm Charlie Brooker and you're watching Screenwipe, a programme all about the thoroughly discredited medium of television.
Not so long ago, TV was everyone's friend. It provided companionship to the old and lonely, provided a window on the world for anyone too lazy or stupid to open a book, and imbued an otherwise hopelessly divided nation with a false sense of social unity.
But now it's all went actually wrong.
Now TV is discredited, distrusted and despised by all. It's a big electric bastard.
All year long, TV's been in the dock more often than Pete Doherty, and it's been treated with even less respect. Here's why.
First, there was Celebrity Big Brother, in which a light-hearted reality show became an all-out race war.
You're a liar! You're a liar and you're a fake! You're a liar!
Then phone scandals rocked bland TV to its core.
I can't believe I got through after all this time. I think I've been trying for about 3 years, so I need the money to pay my phone bill.
Some contests were even skewed in favour of imaginary people, although ironically amongst the real people who lost out were Glorious Winner, Jackpot and Victor E. Lapp. After roping a loose kid into impersonating a phone-in winner, squeaky clean Blue Peter was forced to beg for forgiveness from the nation's children.
We'd like to say sorry to you, because when this mistake happened, we let you down.
Actually, is it just me, or is that the sexiest apology ever? Go on, Connie, apologise again. Do it. Do it with your mouth.
Anyway, before we'd stopped reeling from that, an almighty row blew up over whether the Queen had stormed out of a room or whether it just looked that way because of TV's stinking lies.
BBC One boss Peter Fincham was forced to explain himself in an unusual Newsnight grilling.
I'll explain it again. It's a mistake that was made, for which, of course, as the controller of the channel, I take responsibility.
And with that, he got up and he stormed out of the room. We've been asked to point out Mr. Fincham did not storm out of the room, nor did he do any of the following.
Throughout all this, the papers have reacted like they're Keanu Reeves in the Matrix, pulling the virtual dream pipe out the back of his noggin and seeing the world for the steaming shitbowl it really is for the very first time.
Before long, Fleet Street was pissing its knickers over whether uncouth chef Gordon Ramsay really caught a fish or not.
I feel like a fucking action man. Oh, yeah? Well, you look like a fucking liar.
Of course, it's a bit rich, all this coming from Fleet Street. I mean, it's not like the papers ever bend the truth.
It's not like the papers might pay some scumsack to stand outside a nightclub firing off 300 photos of whichever celebrity they've got it in for that week, just so they can select a shot of them in mid-blink where it looks like they're a bit drunk and run it alongside some quasi-fictional article peppered with quotes from imaginary sources, is it? Oh, it's not like the papers frequently run stories bearing so little resemblance to reality they might as well be accompanied by Roger Hargreaves illustrations and a Lewis Carroll byline.
Oh, no! It's not like the papers mislead everyone on a daily basis, is it? No! Heaven forfend! So, can we trust telly? Well, the problem is that there's various types of fibbery going on here. Some of them harmful, some just part of the language of television. But they all got caught up in the same hysterical whirlwind.
Many TV shows have got in hot water of late for being make-believe, but for my money, the most scandalous is a BBC Two show in which everything's scripted, all the rooms are set, and they've used computers to make it look like a bunch of normal people have got superpowers.
Heroes tells the story of everyday folk who suddenly discover they're not everyday at all. At the start of the series, a genetics professor who looks a bit like an Indian David Tennant discovers his murdered dad's oddball evolutionary theories were true and that there's a bunch of people scattered around the globe who harbour secret special powers. One of the central characters is Peter Petrelli, formerly a nurse caring for the terminally ill with a rib-tickling bedside manner.
Oh, you look at me, living in a penthouse, Central Park West.
Correction. It's dying in a penthouse in Central Park West.
It's funny because it's true.
Peter discovers he acts as a sort of ability sponge, soaking up the powers of whichever hero is nearby. One of these is his brother Nathan, an aspiring politician on behalf of the Gillette Party who can fly and blow smoke rings out of his anus. Most of the fun comes from watching the wide variety of heroes, each of whom conveniently has a different power. There's a man who can pass through objects, a man who wipes minds, and a man who can fart in a glass of water and keep it bubbling for an hour.
Stop! Just stop!
There's also a fat Keanu Reeves who can hear what people are thinking, especially if he strains his ears like a 90-year-old woman. Now, you might think he spends most of his time hearing people thinking, hey, he looks like a fat Keanu Reeves, but actually he uses the power to make expert love to his wife.
It's like you're in my head.
Christ, his dick must be massive if it's gone all the way up to her head. Look out, you'll have her eye out with that, from the inside.
By far the most compelling character is Japanese office worker Hiro, a likeable walking stereotype who can stop time. Hiro's coupled with his best friend Ando, and together they wander through the series as comic relief like two stereotypical Japanese tourists in a far-fetched road movie. His storyline is the most interesting, especially if you're watching the show on satellite, because he's a bit like a human Sky Plus machine.
Actually, that reminds me of something that happened the other day. I'd been constipated for hours. Anyway, the heroes aren't simply using their powers to perform circus tricks. No, they're racing to stop New York being splattered by a massive explosion.
It's been foreseen by superpowered and heroine-liking artist Isaac Mendes, the man who can paint the future badly.
Thanks to Isaac's doodles, they know they've got to save the cheerleader to save the world. And the cheerleader turns out to be a sexy young teenager called Claire, who's adept at repairing herself after an accident.
Oh my God.
You know, that reminds me of something I saw the other day.
If you hit me at 40 miles an hour, there's around an 80% chance I'll die.
Yes, it's the self-healing action from the most shocking, upsetting advert on TV.
Right, if it's okay to hit her at 30 but not 40, why doesn't she just run away at 10 miles an hour when she sees the car coming? Well, don't go back in the road, you maniac! Heroes is good, but it's not altogether perfect. For one thing, you have to sit through a hell of a lot of really stomach-churning dialogue.
We sat in my car and listened to the whole American Beauty album.
Although the weakest link is the aforementioned Dr. Suresh, whose special ability is being made out of bloody wood.
Every time it cuts to him, I let out an audible sigh. Look. Oh, it's not here. Oh. Anyway, Heroes may be unadulterated schlock, but it's brilliantly assembled schlock. Some of the special effects are superb. The only trouble is they're ripping through all the different powers so quickly. By the time they get to season 3, they're going to have to introduce a bloke whose special power is that he can make really nice paella. And who's going to watch that?
With all public trust in TV utterly shat through a bin bag, does anyone believe anything they see on screen anymore? Whoa!